Hello, everybody, welcome. It was a psychic investigator. Hello, everybody, welcome. Rosie Psychic Investigator. So, today is Monday, January 26th, and I'm working from WeWork. Remember, I have an WeWork office in New York, and there are a few branches of WeWork in Rio, few of them, three of them actually. So today I decided to visit one and see, right? And it turns out it's fantastic. So it really is a blessing to be able to come here because it's been very chaotic in my house this the last few days. And so it's interesting information. So really, because I don't know if I'll tell you, it's a really weird story. It's not that weird, but I think I could tell you. So Saturday night there was a like my room is a little weird. My bedroom there, it doesn't have like very direct light, but there's a ventilation shaft that it has like access that there's like a door to. And around midnight on Saturday, I saw this shape falling down, like really dark shape falling down. It was at night. So I go look, and I was like, "Oh, was it a bat or something?" Like this thing that fell, and it turns out it was an actual rat. Not a mouse, a rat. So it was scary because the rat got stuck. It fell from like this wall. It's a long story. Like I haven't really seen rats at all in Brazil. It's not like New York. It's not like New York at all, right? You would think, but it's not. I've never seen rats on the street or anything. But because it's a ground floor apartment and there's all this fruit trees, I think, you know, so it's been very stressful trying to, because the rat is stuck. We can't, it's not like a mouse. You can't, like, and it's like right against the glass, like that is sort of like the window slash door to my room. So yesterday I was able to find, even though it was Sunday, I found a pet shop that sells rat poison. And this rat poison basically like worked. So, but the chaos of my parents and this creature is just intense. And I think that we have to wait until the animal is deceased to remove it. And so that led me to look for places like this, and it's fantastic over here. And it's not an office, obviously, right? It's just, but it's so beautiful. The view is incredible. It's a little bit farther. I need to, it's like, I took a cab to come here. But it's in the downtown area. So it's great. Anyway, I'm here and I'm ready to make a video because, like I said, the circumstances where I am aren't always like, I don't always have privacy. And there was more an unwanted guest, an extra guest. So, so yeah, it's just, I've been traumatized by, and everybody, like my mom was like, open it. And it's like the rat looks at me like, it's really creepy. I don't, something I don't wish to anybody. But I actually was telling Karina about this when the rat fell. I was like, wow, I first saw it as an image, a message. The rat has fallen. Who's that? Huh? I thought it was like a symbolic message about today. He fell and he's stuck. The interesting thing, right? The rat is stuck and he can't get away. It's only a matter of time. hmm So that's how I see it, And now it's so clean and organized and everything. It's just this rat that apparently I went to look for, like for the rat people to remove, but it had like they don't remove out living, like they don't remove actual, like, hey, you don't go grab a rat. No, they they put the poison. But anyway, but then I found out there is a type of rat called the roof rat, and that's what I think it is because it was up. You know, it's interesting up in the walls somewhere. Then, you know, there's like a wall dividing this building and another building. And it's anyway, that's really wonderful. But it's not nearly as traumatic as what Americans are dealing with right now with what's going on in Minneapolis. And I'm sorry I was not able to do a video earlier. Okay, so but let's look at it. Let's look at what's going on. There's so much to talk about. And so let's get started. All right. So let's do the protection. I like to ask for protection, a beautiful ray of lights coming on top of my head as I breathe in. I fill my lungs as I breathe out. I create a circle. I step into it. I feel protected. I feel connected. I like to ask that information come only from the highest sources, that I create the good, the good, and so it is. So I knew we had branches in Rio. I had looked it up before I came, and with all the chaos going on, I decided to book it for a day, and that's where I am today, and I'm really happy because it looks really nice. So this is the Rio we work. It's amazing. It's really a lot more spacious than the one in New York. It's kind of incredible. Just look, like the views. I don't know that you can see all of it, but a lot of the famous what you call it, like the sightseeing spots are behind you. But let's see here what's going on. Minneapolis live updates. Trump backs off criticism of governor and sends border czar to lead ICE operations. The president shifted his tone after sending an envoy, Tom Homan, to Minnesota in a very good call with Tim Walz. White House officials continue to attack state leaders as the judge weighed the legality of a federal immigration operation. And really, the whole thing of like, this immigration thing, is it really an immigration thing? Part of it is, but this is the whole fascist history. And if you look at the history of Second World War, what the Nazi people did to the Jews was that they classified them as illegals, as immigrants, and they removed them from citizenship. So they clearly have studied history, and that's what they are imitating here. Okay, and they are putting. It's like, I don't know. I mean, we know it's a very devilish, deranged thing that they're doing, but I don't feel like this is an immigration operation at all. They are inserting this sort of NAZI situation where they have a stormtrooper like army of and I was seeing this in the part that wasn't recording, that the people there in Minneapolis that are involved in this are also the ones that participate in these far right militias. And it's not a coincidence that we don't see their face, right? And it's saying all it has to be done is that these people are unmasked. And it's like, it's showing me here in the vision that it's like, how hard does it have to be? They just have to make sure the police, whichever the local law enforcement is, that they sort of, these are the ones that have to clash with immigration, right? Because this is just a front for a bigger goal. Okay. So President Trump appeared to be trying to quell the outcry over his immigration crackdown in Minneapolis on Monday, deploying his border czar to oversee operations there and taking a cooperative tone with the governor. He has blamed for killings of 2 citizens by federal agents. Mr. Trump said in a social media post that he and Minnesota's governor, Tim Walz, had a very good call and seemed to be on a similar wavelength. The president said he was waving his border czar, Tom Homan, get in touch. He was having his board to get in touch with Mr. Walls to discuss coordination specifically on criminals already in state custody. The stone was a marked change from his previous attacks on the governor, whom he has repeatedly blamed for inflating protests. Mr. Wall's office described the call as productive and underscored Minnesota's cooperation with federal authorities in cases involving criminals in state custody. The summary of the call by the governor's office also touched on topics Mr. Trump's post did not. It said Mr. Trump agreed to talk to federal officials about ensuring independent investigations into the killings of Alex Pretti, a nurse who was fatally shot by federal agents on Saturday, and Renee Good, who was killed by an agent earlier this month. Mr. Waltz said Mr. Trump had also agreed to look into reducing the number of federal agents in Minnesota. Okay, so what was this? What was the call really like? I see that Governor Walz was very angry, adamant that he'd do something. And he did. There's a moment where Trump kind of gets cold. And he has to do it. And there's a lot of his allies that are saying, actually, and I see Susie Wiles, her name is right, also saying that it's not working. And she's telling Stephen Miller to back down because this will backfire among the MAGA base. And I say the MAGA base is angry at them because they're seeing what is happening. Right? They're seeing really? They're like, really? Is there really an immigration thing? I don't see it. I see these are American citizens and they're killing them. So it's very clear what is happening, okay, from their perspective. So there's backlash of all kinds. And he can't quite get away with it, is what I'm getting. Okay, so let's continue. Mr. Trump has faced intensifying criticism since the killing of Mr. Pretti, whom he and his top aides quickly branded as a domestic terrorist, even as videos of the encounter contradicted their narrative of the shooting. Caroline Leavitt, the White House press secretary, sought to distance the president from the attacks on Mr. Pretti, even though Mr. Trump referred to him as a gunman on social media only hours after he was killed, but continued to cast blame on Democrats, including Mr. Walz. Okay, I have to tell you here that I got a message I picked up on Dr. King here saying that, Rosie, what is happening is that white America is waking up to what has happened for centuries. And Americans are now seeing that this isn't really about race anymore. This is the excuse for the violence before. This is really about oppression and oppressing anyone who has a soul, anyone who has a heart. That is the goal, to separate the people. But they severely misjudged that the majority of people, even though some of the ones that voted for Trump are not enjoying this spectacle, and that a lot of people are still asking about the files. So now that it's saying it's backfiring massively, it's saying you've said it before about what happened in Kent State. That was a moment that changed a lot of things because they were going after American citizens. He's also showing me that there's an escalation level here that is not only unprecedented, but also it's too steep and it has gone too far. But okay, but Dr. King, I have a question. It really looks like he has stolen the election, so why should he care? Technically, he and others and the Peter Thiels of the world could still keep their jobs and could manipulate elections and numbers to a degree that they could always win. What is different here, right? So what is how could this possibly affect him if his popularity is completely manufactured, in other words? Doesn't make sense. I mean, he has supporters, but what I mean is that since their goal is to completely control the numbers of elections, and they have, I think, succeeded to an extent, to a large extent, right? Why would they care? Why would they care about the American people? Why would Trump care about what Tim Walz thinks or what anybody thinks? Because ultimately he cares about popularity and his legacy. Has a giant ego. He needs approval. And as much as he needs fear, he likes it when people are afraid of him. He needs to be approved or to be liked much more than what he needs to be hated. So, and it's saying Tim Walz knew how to talk to him like that. Okay, so what happens? But the saying, I see that Trump is a little dizzy. He's like, oh, okay. But then he remembers the whole thing about the APS files. He needs to keep them quiet. He needs them to be quiet about it. And then I see the face of Putin, ha ha ha, laughing. Dr. King, what is going to happen to Putin? Because I'm not saying that Trump, I'm not obviously excusing Trump's behavior, but it's pretty clear, it's very clear that there's something going on here. All right. He is guilty as hell. And he's because I see that Putin is like edging Trump on to create more violence and chaos, like civil war like situation. Do you see Putin going, saying he's fading, Rosie? He's saying he's fading. He does not have more. I see he's like, no, less than 6 months. Okay. He's fading. And they're pumping him with steroids, but it's not working. Right? The people like that, they have access to all kinds of medical, I don't say medical miracles, but blood, whatever. I don't know what, but right. So they're kept alive almost by miracle. But it's saying I see he's losing his grip. He knows the end is near. So, okay, so what happens in America? What happens next? I see that they can't quite control the hatred of this administration and that they have woken the giant. There will be no rest until there's accountability and justice. So that's very interesting, right? So that's what I'm being told. Yes, it's hard for you, Rosie. It's hard for the viewers to understand because all you feel is the outrage. All you feel is the hatred of all of the evil that is happening. But it has to come out just to be expurgated so that it can be removed from history once for all. Justice can happen, and these people are not going to be, they're going to the history books for the wrong reasons, and this will not be forgotten. So what are the next steps? How are things going to calm down in Minneapolis and Minnesota when Trump is targeting them so awfully? 6 weeks, okay. It's saying there's not many more places for him to go, and he's going down. And he's saying, and guys, by the way, I have to look into this. He's saying the shamans are right. There's going to be he's saying there's going to be a big AVC. Is that right? Is that a brain hemorrhage thing? And he will not be able to speak like he used to. Wow. Sad for him. No, I'm not. I really don't. So, wow. Wow. Okay. Oh. Then I see this, that there's something about, and there's going to be all these monuments over there. There's going to be like a big place for civil rights in the future, Minneapolis. It's going to be a tourist destination in that sense. And I see like almost like this shot from a bird's eye view. Is that what it is? Like from up, and then this intensity in the city, and it kind of dies down. And as it dies down, it transitions to this new era, and I get goosebumps, like a new world. And that it's kind of saying that they're poison. They taste their own poison, and they have to fade away by the strength of their own medicine, right? So then this better era comes, but it's almost as if it all needs to play out in the sense of that their dreams or whatever are allowed to like come out. And then once they come out, they lose their power. And they don't have, because really, this is in history, it's been similar. Those levels, that level of evil, all they care about is destruction. And there's nothing building. They're not building anything. And Trump's like this whole year, he has destroyed the American economy. He has created so many layoffs, right? It's just absolute nightmare. And guys, I have to tell you about, like, I'm here in Brazil, right? I haven't quite gone to like the full doctor thing, but I go to Reddit and there's so many posts of Americans coming here, wanting to come here for medical tourism because it's too expensive in the US. People can't afford it. And I'm not talking about like, even it's like, it's not necessarily even about people that are really poor. The middle class people can't afford it either. Families can't afford it. And what kind of country is that? We're giving everything to Elon Musk. Are you kidding me? Like, are you kidding me? That is not right. So, and I'm getting that we're going to have something like what FDR did, like almost 100 years later, right? Because they're pushing us to the brink. But it's saying we're going to be reborn after this, but it is what it is. Similarly, it's saying just as when those people are allowed to rule and they created the Great Depression because they thought there was a lot of speculation, right? And they just wanted to make as much money as possible, ignoring risks and putting a lot of people, like risking themselves and putting a lot of regular people in dire circumstances. This is very similar. And we're living through it so we can learn these lessons once for all, because this country cannot go forward without addressing this. And as Dr. King said, it's been going on for centuries. So this is it, guys. I'm gonna go because over here they have hours, like limited hours, to be honest. This is just my first video from here, but I'm going to continue to make more videos like this. I'm excited. I really am. Okay. Because now I have a reliable place to work from. All right. Okay. So it was great talking to you, and I'll talk to you very soon again. Love you. Thanks for being patient. Bye-bye.